Welcome to Oryx Learning. Today's lesson is on Unit 8, Congruence and Similarity, Lesson 2, Congruence. Rashid is making a congruent statement for the congruent triangles shown. Where did he go wrong? So Rashid's statement is triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. If you would like to find out the answer to this question, please follow along and we'll revisit it at the end. The parts of congruent figures that match or correspond are called corresponding parts. If two figures are congruent, their corresponding sides are congruent and their corresponding angles are congruent. So here's an image of two congruent figures with their corresponding parts marked. Given triangle ABC and triangle DEF, we know that angle A is congruent to angle D, angle B is congruent to angle E, and angle C is congruent to angle F. There are two ways to come up with these congruent angles. One, from the congruent statement, the order in which the angles are placed, or from the diagram itself, we can look at the marks on the diagram to see which angles correspond and are therefore congruent. The same thing can be said about the sides of the triangle, where side AB would be congruent to side DE, side BC would be congruent to EF, and side CA would be congruent to side FD. Given triangle ABC is congruent to triangle RKW, connect the corresponding angles. Looking at the first triangle, letter B, or angle B, is the middle letter. It should correspond with the middle letter of the second triangle, which is angle K. Angle C is the last angle listed in triangle ABC, so it should correspond to the last angle in the second triangle, which would be angle W. And angle A is the first angle listed in triangle ABC and should correspond with the first angle listed in triangle RKW, which is angle R. Which of the following is the correct congruent statement for the right triangles below? Using the top triangle, we can see that if we reflect it over a line, it would create the bottom triangle. Remember, when using transformations, they create congruent figures, and all of their corresponding parts would also be congruent. So in this case, side AB, when reflected, would be congruent or corresponding to side EF. Side BC would be congruent or corresponding to side FD. Using this information, we can set up our congruent statement, which would be triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EFD. This is the second answer shown. Two figures below are congruent. Fill in the blank to make the congruent statement true. Parallelogram ABCD is congruent to parallelogram. Looking at the marks on the diagram, we can see that angle A matches up with angle T. So if A is listed first in the first parallelogram, angle T will be listed first in the second parallelogram. Angle B is listed second. Angle B corresponds with angle U, so U should be the second angle listed. C is the third angle in parallelogram ABCD, and angle C corresponds to angle S, so S will be next. And the last angle listed is angle D, which corresponds to angle R. So parallelogram ABCD is congruent to parallelogram TUSR. Given triangle DEF is congruent to triangle WXY and angle D is 60 degrees, find angle W. We know that if the two triangles are congruent, then angle D corresponds with angle W. Corresponding parts of congruent figures are congruent, so angle W must also be 60 degrees. If angle D is 60 degrees, angle W is also 60 degrees. Now back to Rashid. If Rashid is making a congruent statement for the congruent triangle shown, where did he go wrong? So again, Rashid's statement is triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Let's look at angle A to start. Angle A corresponds to angle D. So angle A and angle D should be listed first, which they are. Angle B is listed second, and it corresponds to angle F. So angle B and angle F should be listed second, and as you can see, they are not. Angle B is listed second in the first triangle, but angle F is listed last in the second triangle. Continuing on, angle C is the third angle, and that corresponds to angle E, so they should both be the third letter in our congruent statement. And as you can see, angle C is the third letter in triangle ABC, but angle E is listed second in triangle DEF. The correct statement should be triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DFE. The parts of congruent figures that match or correspond are called corresponding parts. And remember, if two figures are congruent, their corresponding sides are congruent and their corresponding angles are congruent. That is our lesson for today. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed it.